2025 is almost over, so as my gift to you, here's all my videos from the year. Have fun and enjoy the movie.
Hi, my name is Evan, and today I'm going to be making Evan sugar cookies. This recipe was made by my baking teacher because he knew I like the sugar cookies you find in stores. This recipe has two components, a dough and a frosting. I will be using two tools, my paddle, and then I'll be using my stand mixer with the paddle attachment. And the first step is to preheat your oven at 375 degrees. The next step of the recipe is combining the butter and the sugar. This is called creaming the butter, and it creates a nice base for our batter. Now, with the handle, we're going to combine the flour, baking powder, and salt till uniform. Now, you combine your vanilla extract and egg and pour it into the bowl of your mixer. Now, you put your dry ingredients with the wet ingredients to create your final dough product. Now, you're going to take your tablespoon of dough, roll it into a ball, and then put it on your baking sheet. Make sure they're well spaced because it will expand as they bake. Now you're going to want to put them into the oven for about 8 minutes. Now, the finished product should look like this, with them more puffed and have more light color. Now, we're going to mix the butter, salt, and vanilla to create the first step of our frosting. Now, on speed 1, we're going to slowly add in the powdered sugar until it's all incorporated. Now you're going to add your whole milk to the mixing bowl. This will start to make it chunkier so it doesn't turn to powder. As an option, you can add a little bit of food coloring. I'm choosing blue. You only want to do 2 drops so it's not too bright blue. Now, on your final step, you want to take your cookie and some frosting and gloss it over a little bit just to create a little layer of frosting. And this is the final product. This is Evan's sugar cookies. Thank you to my sister for recording this. Let's make a bacon grilled cheese. First, slice your bacon into smaller pieces so it can fit better in the sandwich. Now put your pan on medium heat and put your bacon on. Flip your bacon. Off the sizzle. Once your bacon looks something like this, transfer to a plate with a paper towel to soak up the grease. Using the bacon grease, toast the inside of your bread. I recommend using a nice sourdough loaf. If you can make it yourself, that would be, okay, whatever, it's good. Once your bread has a nice golden brown like this, you want to start assembling your sandwich by going with 2 cheeses, your bacon, and another 2 cheeses to seal it off. Then using your butter, make a nice layer to combine with the grease. Now put your sandwich on the pan. If you want your cheese to melt easier, put a cover on your pan. Once your sandwich has a nice golden brown like this, you'll want to recover it so the cheese can get even more melty. Once your sandwich is done, you want to transfer it to your cutting board. A standard grilled cheese with sourdough loaf would probably take around 4 minutes per side. Turn off your heat, and now we're going to slice into this nice sandwich. A nice serrated knife. Ready?
Okay.
Alright, now, reason you flip it is so you can get the cheese pull in its full glory. And look at that.
Ooh.
Alrighty. And that's a bacon grilled cheese. Let's give it a try. Alright, we'll do. Let's make pesto pasta. To make your pasta dough, put your salt, flour, egg, and olive oil into your food processor. If you use a food processor, it might look grainy, but don't be worried. It'll combine because of the consistency. So once it's done, you want to move it onto a parchment sheet or any kind of sheet that won't stick. Then you want to clump it together and knead it for 10 minutes and then put it in the fridge. Once your dough is finished, you want to put it into a bowl and cover with a lid. Make sure not to cover it all the way. Then you want to put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. To start your pesto, you want to toast your pine nuts until you can smell them and they have a nice golden brown. Once your pine nuts are done toasting, you want to put them in your blender. Once you put your pine nuts into your blender, you want to put your basil leaves in. Make sure not to put in the stems because they will not be edible in the pesto. The next step is you want to grate your Parmesan into 3/4 cup, and after that you want to put it into your blender. Next you want to put your garlic into the blender and have 3 teaspoons of it. Your last ingredient for your pesto is going to be salt and pepper. This is for taste, so they're not a needed ingredient. Once your pesto has this sort of consistency, it can be a little bit thicker, but it doesn't matter. You want to go put it aside and get your pasta dough out. If your time hasn't gone off it, wait a little bit. And once it's done, it should look something like this. Still look this similar and have a firm texture. Once your pasta dough is done, you want to cut into 4 equal pieces on your silicone mat. Then you want to take a rolling pin and slightly flatten it out until you can get it to fit in between your pasta roller. You want it to get to a level 2 thickness so we can get a good thickness for your fettuccine attachment. The next step is to change to the pasta cutter you want. I'm using fettuccine. Attach it and begin cutting your noodles. Next, you're going to bring some water to a boil. Once your water begins to boil, put in your pasta noodles. They should cook for about 3 minutes. Once your pasta's cooked, strain it out. It should look a little something like this. Alright. For your final step is to combine some of your pesto with your pasta. There it is, pesto pasta. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I made extra pesto yesterday, so let's make a pesto pizza. First, take your pizza dough and put it on your surface and begin stretching it out. Make sure to flour the top so it doesn't get too sticky. Once your dough is spread out, take your pesto and begin spreading it on the pizza. Make sure to get a nice layer. Once your pizza is fully sauced, take your mozzarella cheese and begin to spread. Next, if you're using toppings, slice them up, or if they're plain, put them on. You don't need to use any toppings, but I'm using semi-sweet peppers from my garden. I'll only be putting peppers on half the pizza because my siblings do not like peppers. Then put it in your pizza. And this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. It's crispy. Let's upgrade a cup ramen. First, bring water to a boil. Once your water is done boiling, fill in your ramen to the fill line. Then recover it for 3 minutes. While your ramen is cooking, slice up some pork or any type of meat you would like. Once your ramen is done cooking, you have the option of putting it into the bowl right away or straining the soup. Most people will like the soup, so this is not an option. This is an option. As an option, you can add some hot sauce to elevate the flavor so it's not as bland. Now you can use the meat, if you did, you cut up earlier and put it in your ramen. I have not mastered chopsticks. Now this is an upgraded cup ramen. Let's give it a try. It won. I made a peach shortcake with my baking teacher today. I haven't assembled it, so I'll do it with you guys. First, you want to take the bread part, slice it in half to make a little sandwich. Nice and cooked inside. Then you want to take a little bit of whipped cream. I made mine homemade. You can always use store-bought. Take a little bit, put it on, and begin to spread. Thick or thin, however you like. Okay, now you want to take a larger spoon into a peach filling. This is vanilla, sugar, and peaches. Put it on and reclose. And I just realized I made it upside down, so I'll just flip it. Then put a little bit of mint on top. That's a peach shortcake. Let's make a pulled pork sandwich. For my pulled pork, I'll be using some pork shoulder that my dad made over the weekend. First, you want to put it into your pan on a low heat just so you can heat it up. While your pork is cooking, cut up your toppings. I'll be using pickle, onion, and cheese. So to slice your pickles, just do nice slices. Just like these. Then take your onion and do nice slices too. Gotta get that little slice. Once your pork is done cooking, set it aside. Now, using the pork grease, you want to take your bun and toast it. Once your buns are done toasting, I did it for around 3 minutes. Transfer it to your plate. We'll just say I got a nice little toast. Smells good. Then start assembling your sandwich by going with your pork, cheese, pickles, and then onion. You do have the option to cook these if you want. And then this is a pulled pork sandwich. Let's give it a try. It's falling apart. It's really good. Let's make a pasta with marinara sauce. First, you want to make your pasta dough, which I taught you how to make my pesto pasta video, but here are the measurements. 100 grams of flour, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and a pinch of salt. While your pasta is resting, begin your marinara by first turning your pan onto a high-medium heat and spraying it with oil. Then start with your base of your marinara. I like to go with onion and garlic. Now my pan's heated up, so I'm going to put in my onion, and a little bit of garlic. Ooh. It's mad at me. And you want to saute them until you can see through them a little bit. Okay, while your onion and garlic is sauteing, cut up your tomatoes. I'm going to be using a mixture of Roma and yellow tomatoes from my garden. You want to make around cube sizes, kind of like this. Once our tomatoes are ready, put them in the pan with your garlic. While While this is sauteing, you want to start to season. I'll be using salt, pepper, oregano, and garlic powder. First, put your pepper. Then your oregano. And your garlic powder. And your salt. And let that keep sauteing. While your sauce is sauteing, you want to work on your pasta. I'll be using my spaghetti attachment. First, you want to roll it out and run it through the flattener. And once it looks like this, start cutting your fresh herbs over. I'll be using parsley and basil. Once your pasta is cooked and strained, you may add in your marinara. Then take a fork and mix it up a little bit. Finish up by putting on a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano, and this is the pasta with homemade marinara. Let's make a pizza grilled cheese with my leftover marinara. Start out by putting your pan on medium heat. First, once your pan is heated up, you want to put your butter in your pan and to spread it around a little bit. And once it's spread, put in your sourdough. Okay, once your bread is done toasting, put it onto your plate. This one's a little floppy. Take your marinara. Pizza sauce with olive will work for this. Take a little bit, put it on, and spread. Then take your mozzarella and spread it generously across. Then recover. Then take a little bit more butter. Spread it on your pan. And put your grilled cheese on. Cover it for extra melt. And give it a nice flip when the first side is done. Ooh. Once your grilled cheese is done, transfer it to your plate. And got a nice crispy. Ooh. Ow. That's hot. Not the best cheese bowl, but that looks really good. Let's give it a try. That was real good. I'm at my grandparents' house, so let's grill some steaks for him. So first you want to pat them dry, which I've already done. Then you want to do some seasonings. I'm going to be using a seasoning salt and something called Tuscany. It's an Italian seasoning, and you want to do a little bit of it because it's very powerful. You don't want it to overpower the steaks. Just that much. Then you're going to want to flip your steaks. And then season the backside with only sea salt because the top side's already very flavorful. Now, you want to coat your steaks with something called paprika oil. It's just olive oil and paprika. Take a little bit and spread it onto the steak. Make sure to lather it all over and get the fat cap. Now we're ready to put it on the grill. Now when all your steaks are on, put your grill to around a medium heat and let them cook for about 6 minutes per side for a medium. If you want it to be medium rare, do it for maybe 5 minutes per side, I would say. Once you see the blood start to come out, that's when you know they're ready. So get ready to flip it. You got a nice crust. That works too. You got the nice grill marks. Once your steaks are done, slice into it. Have a nice medium. Get into slices. Should look just like this. Here you go, Papa.
Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Let's make snickerdoodle cookies. First, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then you want to put your butter and sugar into your stand mixer to cream it together. You want to do this for around 4 to 5 minutes. Once you're done creaming your butter and sugar for 4 or 5 minutes, it should look like this. Then what you want to do is put in your vanilla and egg. Then you want to stir it up till it's uniform color. Once your wet ingredients are done incorporating, combine your dry ingredients, where it's flour, cream of tartar, baking soda, and salt. You want to put it all into a medium mixing bowl. And then whisk till uniform color. Then you want to put down your stand mixer again and start putting it on a low speed. Then you want to put in your dry ingredients slowly and not all at once. So put a little bit in, wait for it to incorporate, and keep repeating the process. Once your dough is incorporated, you want to cover it up and put it in your fridge for about 20 minutes to cool off. Once your dough is ready, you want to put in your cinnamon sugar to make your coating. Put your cinnamon into your sugar, as much as you can. Once you get enough out, you want to just whisk it up together. Make your very, very basic coating. Once everything's ready, you want to make an assembly line. You want to take a little bit of dough with a soup spoon, roll it into a ball, coat it into the cinnamon sugar, and put it on the tray. Just like that, and keep doing it until you have enough. Once all your cookies are rolled out and coated, you want to open your oven and put in your cookies for around 10 minutes. Now you're going to go take them out of the oven. So mine kind of blended together, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. So what I'm going to do is use a cup, and once it cools down, I'm going to punch it through, put it on my cooling rack. And this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. Soft and crunchy. Let's make potato leek soup, but first let's harvest my leeks. In a little bit of time. Then first you want to peel your potatoes. I cut them in half, my leeks in half again. Then I'm going to dice them halfway. Oh. And continue to dice into a moon shape. Then once all your leeks are cut, you want to do your potatoes, which you want to go half, and then dice. Now if you're using peppers, this is how we like to cut them. First, chop off the top, cut it in half. Then remove the middle part and seed, because that's where most of the spice is. If you do want a spicy, then you don't have to remove them. Now to start sauteing, I'll be using my Instant Pot, but you can always use it on the stove. First one, click your saute setting, put in olive oil, pour your heart's content, and put in 2 tablespoons of butter, and just let that go. Once your butter is ready, it's really loud, you want to add in your leeks and peppers. And I'll add my garlic in a few seconds, just because it burns quickly. So you want to take a little bit, say about that much, and maybe one more for good luck. And you want to mix it until it's soft. Now, I'd say to season at every step, so I take a little bit of garlic salt, put it in, and then put in pepper. Once your vegetables are done sauteing, they should look something like this. You want to add in your potatoes. I just got a mound of potatoes here. Then while all your potatoes are in, you want to add in your tune broth until it's fully covered. Now I'm going to add in my onion powder, even though I already have some garlic powder in there. It's all good. Put a little bit of your onion powder in there. And also add some thyme. Now I'm going to put the lid on my Instant Pot. Set it for manual, 8 minutes. And then if you're doing it on the stovetop, basically put them on for around 20 minutes until the potatoes are tender. When your Instant Pot's done, I'm gonna stand back because this is gonna release hot steam. Now that my soup is done steaming and cooking, I'm gonna put in my immersion blender, Click high and keep going till smooth. Once it's all mixed up, you want to add in your cup of cream or milk if you want to make it creamier. If you don't, it's fine. Once it's all ready, take your ladle, pour it in. Then for just a little bit, bedazzle, put in some parsley. Now this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. I love potato cake soup now.
Let's upgrade a boxed cake mix.
To upgrade my cake mix, I'm going to be using 1 extra egg, butter instead of oil, milk instead of water, and lemon extract instead of vanilla extract because I like lemon cake better. And for our first step, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And we'll let that go and we'll get started here.
You're shaking up after yourself.
Okay, now while our cake is baking, we're going to be making a lemon buttercream really quick. These are the cakes. I think they turned out pretty good. I let my cakes and frosting cool overnight, so now I'm going to start assembling my cake. When I was taking it out, I kind of messed it up, so I tried to get as even frosting as I could, but rather than just get the top one now, which I think I did a lot better with. Now that my cake is fully frosted, I'm going to be taking some edible gold spray, making it look a little bit better. And then for my final decoration, I put a little dollop of frosting on top. Then I'm going to take a lemon. And I'm going to put that right there. And that's a lemon cake, and I'll show you how it is at the party. And this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. That's really good.
Let's make breakfast tacos.
For a tortilla, we're going to be substituting a pancake. So first we're going to put in some flour, sugar, salt, and baking soda, and then sift that all through. After all your ingredients are sifted through, you want to add whole milk, some melted butter, and then 1 egg to finish off your batter. And then you want to whisk till smooth. Once your batter has a good consistency like this, you want to set it to the side so we can make our other components. For our next component, we're making some scrambled eggs. So first, we'll take 2 eggs, put it into your bowl. Take out the eggshell. You want to put in a little bit of salt, some fresh cracked pepper, and then a dash of some whole milk to make it creamy in a way. Then when your egg mixture is a uniform color, set that aside too so we can make our final component. For our last component of our breakfast taco, we're going to be using some bacon. So we're going to slice this into smaller pieces so it can fit better into the taco. Now for the first step of making our taco, you're going to oil your pan with some avocado oil. Then when your pan gets hot, put in your bacon. Once your bacon's done cooking, transfer it to a separate plate And keep the bacon grease in there because that's what we'll use to cook our eggs. Take your eggs and then pour it into the pan. You'll have to work quickly because this will heat up very fast. Once your eggs are done cooking, you want to transfer them to another plate. Now, while your pan is still extremely hot, pour in your pancake batter. After your taco has a nice golden like this, you want to flip it. Once your pancake is done, you want to start assembling your breakfast taco by taking some scrambled eggs. That's hot still. Maybe I should have waited a second. Take a little bit of bacon. Put that on top. And then, for the last step, you're going to take a little bit. Once your pancake is done, you want to take some scrambled eggs, your bacon, and then for the final ingredient, you're going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese. It's hard to open the bag because my hands are greasy. But yeah, you take a little bit of cheese, put it on top, and then fold up your taco. It's exploding everywhere, but let's give it a try. It's so messy, but it's so good.
Let's try food at Gobert's Farm. So the first thing we're gonna try is the apple cider donut. This is like one of the most popular things here. It's really warm. I give it an 8 out of 10. All right, next up we got some kettle corn. I'm not the best judge. I don't like sweet corn. I can see why people like this, but it's like a 6 out of 10 for me. All right, next we got giant lemonade. We got this from the stand over there. Let's go try. Oh, I love lemonade, and this is one of the best ones I've ever had. Sweet, pretty sour. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. All right, we got giant pretzel now. Let's give this a try. We got like a crispy bit on the bottom. Very nice. Salty. That's an 8 out of 10. All right, so lunchtime we got two things. We got a taco with some cilantro, onion, and green salsa, and a slider with cheese and a grilled onion. So let's try the slider first. That's like a cheese pool. Oh, hot. Really good. I'll give that a 9 out of 10. That's real. Oh, wow. Really. And now I get the taco. That was really good. The steak is a little chewy, which I wish it was a little more tender. Give that a 7 out of 10. All right, we also got some pumpkin and vanilla ice cream. I don't know how this is going to taste. Oh, that's really good. Not much of a pumpkin flavor. Wish there was a little bit more of that. Give that another 7 out of 10. All right, we also have some barbecue chicken sliders. These look extremely promising. That is really good. I'll give that a 9 out of 10. All right, we're at the apple orchard, and I picked out Honeycrisps. Let's see how their apples are. Oh, really juicy. A little sour, though. I don't like my Honeycrisp like that. Give that a 7 out of 10. All right, for our last thing, we got a grilled Italian sausage, some peppers and onions. Let's give it a try. I'd give that a 9 out of 10. All the food here was really good, but I want to see what you guys think in the comments. Let's make a steak sandwich. So first step is we're going to season our steak. I'm going to use some salt. Give that nice and coated all over. And then take pepper and also put that over our steak. Spread that. Then we're going to flip it. Season with some salt. Spread that. And then some more pepper. Then to start cooking your steak, you want to sous vide this for around an hour and a half. After an hour and a half, you want to take out your steak and transfer it to a plate and let it rest for a little bit. Once you have a pan on medium heat with some oil in it, put in your steak to get a nice sear. Once the steak is done getting a sear, cut it into pieces. Again, perfect medium rare. Once my steak was cut, you can make a quick spicy mayo, some mayo, and some hot sauce. Now let's begin assembling our sandwich with some of our bread,
spicy mayo, a little bit of our steak, and then a little bit of provolone cheese. Then we cover up our sandwich. Then put your bread back on the pan so you can start toasting. This is the sandwich after toasting. Let's cut it in half. And this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. That is so good. The video I'm about to show you, I did not make. All I did was put in the prompt. It's AI. All right, let's get this going. Crack an egg straight into the bowl. Whisk until it's nice and smooth, then a little salt for flavor. That's better. Spoon some sauce on the plate, pasta over the top, and a few basil leaves to finish. Me and my family are doing a Halloween pizza contest, and I need your help to decide who won. There's my brother, my dad, my sister, my mom, and me. Put who you think won in the comments. Let's make some wings with my dad. So we've had our wings brining for around 9 hours now.
The brine consists of water, salt, brown sugar, garlic, dried thyme, red pepper flakes.
Then we're gonna remove the chicken wings from the brine by draining it out. Now that we dried them, we're gonna put them in a bowl and bake them with a Cajun seasoning. So we're gonna put some in and toss it around. Once it gets up to temperature, put your wings on your smoker.
Now that you got all your wings on the grill, let them smoke for about an hour.
After an hour, we're gonna pull them off the heat. And then after they're all off, we're gonna crank it up to 450. Now we're gonna coat a third of our wings with a garlic parmesan, so we're gonna put some in there. And then with another third, we're gonna do some barbecue sauce. Once it's heated up, we're gonna put these back on for 10 minutes aside. Now it's been 10 minutes, we're gonna all flip these.
All right, now that it's been 10 minutes, our wings are done. We're ready to take them off the smoker.
All right, this is the finished product. Let's give it a try. That's really good. Let's make fettuccine Alfredo. Here's the finished product. Let's give it a try. That was so good. Let's make a burger for my friend Pocket Draws.
Hi. What's that? Can I just like go? I'm getting bored. I'm just gonna go over here. Okay, Pan, what are you gonna do here? What did you just spray on that? Oh, the Bear. Can you like hurry up? This is taking too long.
Will you shut up?
I'm just gonna go to your long end. Why are you cutting that? No, that's just a waste of food. And let's see what you got in here. You're cooking his buns.
Oh my
Get
god!
it?
Sorry about hitting you. How's the burger?
It sucks.
Let's make some fresh dog treats for my puppy Clark. For your first step, you want to grate half a cup of carrots. Then you want to chop up another half cup. Then you're going to want to combine both these in a bowl together. Then you're going to want to add 2 cups of wheat flour to the mix and 1/4 cup of water. Then mix until fully uniform. Then you want to cut them into some dog bones. Then you want to put these in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Once you take them out of the oven, you're going to want them cool completely until you're ready to serve. All right, let's see what he thinks. I think he likes it. Let's make spaghetti and meatballs.
Give me 25%.
Alright, let's give it a try. Approved. Let's make some ribs. Three hours. 2 hours. That's really good.